Thanks very much, Tim. Good morning, bonjour, and welcome to the City of Thunder Bay for my 5th State of the City address. I have a whole list of people that I want to recognize, and Charlotte took care of that, but I also want to recognize Her Worship Lynn Peterson, who's here tonight, and I want to thank her for all of her service as well. We're going to deviate a bit from the program for the first 4 years that I've done this address. I've done it by myself, but I've dragged Tim Knisso along, and he's going to do about a 10-minute presentation on the state of the city finances and taxes. And we're right in the middle of budget time, as we all know. And so I just also want to recognize my wife, who's here tonight, newlywed. We got married in November, and thanks very much. I've corrupted the poor woman. She's watching city council meetings now. She really needs a life. So as you know, we're right in the middle of budget, and Tim is going to give about a 10-minute presentation. There's handouts on your table. We're not doing the PowerPoint thing because we want to try and get out of here as soon as possible. I also want to thank you for showing up today. It's a great crowd considering the weather. A lot of the schools are closed, and to come out just shows that everyone in this room cares about your city and the state of your city. And I look around, and it's the who's who of Thunder Bay, and the people that really are the movers and shakers. So thank you. Also wish to thank the Chamber of Commerce for participating in our budget process. We've had several meetings this year, and your recent deputation was appreciated as you were speaking about the need to educate the public about municipal budget. We're pleased to hear your suggestions about a core services review, and most of the council are buying into that, and we're going to explore that for sure. Now, I would like to first discuss a few important issues with you from the perspective of our City Council. Thunder Bay is a growing city. We're continuing to rebuild and revitalize our infrastructure. Our economy is diversifying. We're gaining ground on some major projects, such as the continued transformation of the city's waterfront and the proposed event and convention center. I will be blunt, however. We do have some challenges we need to address. I'm therefore pleased to be here with the members of the Chamber of Commerce this morning, and as our city's future hinges on working together. I wish to share with you an encounter that my wife and I had when we attended the opening of the powwow grounds at Oregon First Nation. I made what I thought was an innocent comment and said First Nations have to get behind the City of Thunder Bay to support our various efforts to make our city stronger. No, she said, not getting behind, side by side. We're working side by side. And her words really made an impact on me. Side by side, we will create a caring, welcoming, and inclusive community. This is the key. We must all stand side by side. The city, Fort William First Nations, other Aboriginal groups, our business sector, our residents, and our Chamber of Commerce. Everyone who lives and works and plays in Thunder Bay has a stake in our city's future. There are some issues that we must address together. Social issues such as poverty, homelessness, a lack of affordable housing, addictions, crimes, racism, and discrimination. We want our city to be safe, warm, inclusive, and welcoming. And reaching that goal will take effort from each and every one of us. It is a goal that is in fact included in our strategic plan direction from 2011 to 2014, which directs us to create a sharing, welcoming, inclusive city. One that's good for us who live here, for our visitors, and our businesses. We all need to work harder together to achieve this. This effort, I believe, will be a major focus of our city's next 4-year strategic plan as well, which we have just started to build. I look forward to working with our new council and our community partners, including the Chamber, to develop this roadmap. I need this mic here. Oh. We as partners have an important role to play, however. We also need the federal and provincial governments to come to the table. No offense, John. We need their support to help implement the programs and supports that are needed to address some of the social issues in our community, so that Thunder Bay is safe and welcoming for everyone. This morning, I challenged the Chamber to stand side by side with the city as we work to secure the funding and supports we need to properly address the social issues we face here in Thunder Bay. We have already formed some strong partnerships. Since my re-election in the fall, I've spoken to our Aboriginal leaders and partners, and I look forward to meeting with them face-to-face for a working session in the very near future. During that session, we mapped out priorities and will discuss how we can work to continue the benefit for our communities, both economically and socially. I want to congratulate Joe Moses again as your new chair of the Chamber, first Aboriginal chair of any Chamber of Commerce in Canada, and I think that's a real accomplishment, and it says what we're doing in this community. One new idea that I discussed with Aboriginal leaders is a mentorship program that would provide support for those residents of remote communities who are coming to Thunder Bay to get an education. I think this is a vital program and would see new members of our community paired with a resident who would offer them support as they go through their academic careers here in Thunder Bay. I believe the members of our city's business community would make wonderful mentors, and I hope that the Chamber will support this initiative. We will also continue to draw on the experience and expertise of our city's Intergovernmental Affairs Committee, chaired by Councillor Joe Bergeramo, which has done exceptionally well when it comes to working with other orders of government. The committee, in partnership with the Energy Task Force, was instrumental in keeping Thunder Bay Generating Station open, for example, and they continue to make gains on that important issue. And just this week, OPG announced that the Thunder Bay Generating Station is now converted to full biomass, and that was a real accomplishment. I think Chris Freilich is here tonight. Congratulations. Chris, way to go. Take a moment to picture your ideal community. For me, it is a community free of racism and recognize the contributions of diverse cultures while working to address poverty and the lack of affordable housing. It's a community that supports vital programs like street outreach services offered by Shelter House, working with community partners to provide much needed help to the most vulnerable residents in Thunder Bay, wherever they may be. It is a community that is accessible and age-friendly. It's a warm and welcoming second home for international students that provides exciting and enriching opportunities for youth. Of course, such a community must have a strong economic base to build on as well. Over the last 4 years, we have seen some projects and initiatives come to fruition. Our award-winning waterfront at Prince Arthur's Landing is one example, and I'm excited to see where phase 2 of that project will take us. We've continued to address the city's infrastructure needs. During the previous term of council, I often referred to my fellow councillors as the Infrastructure Council, and I stand by that as in the last term we dedicated $252 million into capital projects enhancing our infrastructure. As you know, we're in the middle of our budget process, like I said, and infrastructure will remain a big part of that process. If we hold the line on capital spending, we'll still spend $66.5 million in infrastructure renewal this year for a total of $266 million over the next 4 years. And I believe that that is vital to attracting business and making the city look like a city. Our credit rating has increased, and we've seen a record number of building permits issued in the last 4 years, and our unemployment rates are lower than a lot of areas of the country. Our city's economy, meanwhile, continues to diversify, and through that, Thunder Bay is positioning itself to seize future opportunities, such as in the mining sector and knowledge-based areas. When it comes to the economy in Thunder Bay, we have to work hard for everything that we get, and we are. One just needs to drive around the city to see the progress. New buildings going up, new businesses are opening their doors, and our infrastructure is being renewed and rebuilt. Further, should we get the funding in place, we'll continue to work towards the construction of our proposed new event and convention center, which will further strengthen the ongoing revitalization of the downtown core. Well, just to tell you where that's at, we've been lobbying hard with the province. Michael Gravel has been a real champion on the provincial side of that. We're looking at probably $5 million from NOHFC. We've met with the owner of the Winnipeg Jets, and he's prepared to sign a 7-year agreement to start, which is really good news for an AHL team. We're looking on the federal side. We're still waiting to hear back, and I've been hammering on Minister Rickford's door many times, almost daily this week, because we need that funding in place by the end of March. If we don't get it, this project could fail, and we don't want that to fail. I think it's going to be so vital for our city. So we expect to hear by the end of March for all funding in place. We're in short on solid footing as we move forward into a new term, and we have a strong council in place to act as a guide. These next 4 years will surely present their own challenges, but they're full of potential and opportunity as well. Our official plan update is near completion, and we're also well on our way to completing new master plans that will govern how City handles climate change adaptation and stormwater management. Both of these documents will prove important to Thunder Bay's future as we deal with increasing numbers of extreme weather events. It's not a matter of when, if the next storm will happen, it's when the next storm will happen. We have to be prepared for that. We must turn our focus to revitalizing our city's historic South Core. One of the first reports our new city council dealt with, in fact, was a safety audit in the South Core. Many of our residents, as well as members of the Chamber, have also expressed concern over property taxes. We've heard you. We have reduced business taxes by an average of 9% in the past few years, while 75% of our city's tax increase have gone towards needed infrastructure renewal. It is time we examined how we can lighten the load on our homeowners. In addition, we must contend with MPAC's systematic and adverse reassessments of industrial properties, including most recently grain elevators. We recently met with the chair of MPAC, and I'm pleased to say the meeting was very productive. Dan Matheson is the mayor of Stratford and the chair of that board. Both of us agreed to work together to address concerns expressed over property assessments in Thunder Bay. Tim will probably touch on that when he does his presentation, but our industrial tax base has been brutally eroded away. I've also applied to sit on that board and have the support of the chair of MPAC, so I think that'll make a difference having a mouthpiece in there for sure. To be successful, we must focus on building our assessment base by attracting new business and retaining existing businesses. We must continue to be great partners with Lakehead University, Confederation College, Thunder Bay Regional Health Sciences Center, and Thunder Bay Regional Research Institute, to name a few. They're all economic drivers in their own right. Our wholly owned companies, T-Bay-Tel and Thunder Bay Hydro, are also prospering. T-Bay-Tel continues to offer world-class technologies like fiber, LTE, and free public Wi-Fi, while employing entirely local workforce. Thunder Bay Hydro continues to pursue a legacy of renewable energy assets for our community. We also continue to work with the Chamber, SHIFT, our city's Young Professionals Network, and the Community Economic Development Commission, or CEDC, to support our city's business sector. Under the guidance of CEO Doug Murray, the CEDC recently completed a new 3-year strategic plan. Very proud to be on that board, and I'm seeing a lot of progress with the CEDC. Their new strategic plan, titled Transition to Growth, is a comprehensive plan. It's divided into 7 themes. Number 1, entrepreneurship. Number 2, innovative manufacturing. 3, training and education. 4, logistics and supply hub. 5, social enterprise, including ICT, regional food and film. Mining readiness, my favorite. Business retention, expansion, and succession planning. These are the areas CDC will focus on over the next 3 years. As a community, we've worked hard to recoup employment loss from forestry through diversification. That focus has paid off with 77% increase in employment in manufacturing from 2011 to 2013. The strategic plan is very thorough, and I look forward to seeing it produce some very exciting results for our city. Much has been done, and there is much more to do to support continued economic growth in the Thunder Bay region. Last point on the CEDC list, succession planning is a particularly interesting one. As our city's population ages and our entrepreneurial residents reach retirement age, they seek to sell their businesses to new owners. However, many are having trouble finding suitable people to take over those businesses. Alongside the CEDC, we will work to attract new entrepreneurs to our city who can take over these established local businesses and keep them prospering.